Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, welcome to this episode about the average savings that the average American has at age 60. So you can compare, hey, are you ahead of the ballpark? Are you behind your peers? What do you need to do to get up to speed? And if whether you're behind or ahead, is that really enough for you? Because I've seen every situation possible, and it doesn't matter how much you have, there's always a chance it's not enough, right? Depending on how much you need. So we're going to talk about that today. Again, if you're new here, my name is Dallin Hawes. Welcome. It is great to have you. I'm a financial planner serving you folks as federal employees, helping you guys get the most out of your federal retirement. So let's dive in. So let's talk about a couple things. First, let's look at the average retirement savings at 60. Now, there's different numbers depending on where you go. Long story short, the average number I'm getting is about $408,000 to about $435,000, right? So the average probably is between $400,000 and $450,000 in retirement savings come age 60. Now, that is the average, meaning whenever we look at an average, what we often get is we get those that are very, very wealthy. Now, okay, let me back up one step. Just so you know, you folks as federal employees, the numbers I'm looking at are not just for federal employees. This is for everyone in America, right? It's hard to get numbers on just federal employees. So these numbers we're looking at are going to include everyone, just so you know, just to be clear on that, okay? So again, about $400,000 to $450,000 is the average retirement savings that a person has come age 60. Now, again, when we look at averages, we have to understand that those that have a ton of money saved for retirement, those ultra wealthy folks, let's say 100 million, right? Or whatever. Those folks that are super wealthy, they're going to really drag up the average, right? And so one thing that's always interesting to look at is, okay, yeah, that's the average retirement savings, but what is the median retirement savings? There's a big difference, right, between the average and the median. And the median, again, there's different answers depending on where you go. Long story short, you're looking at about $200,000 to $250,000. So it's a smaller number when we look at the median, because what happens is there's a lot of people that don't have basically any savings, and so they're down at the bottom. There's lots of them. So when we look at a median, it drags the average down. So long story short, what does any of this mean for you, right? So it's helpful and it can be interesting to know where your peers may be at, right? The average, it's interesting. However, I've seen people retire comfortably with a couple $100,000 and they're good. I've seen people struggle and they've got 1.5 million. The amount doesn't matter. The situation and your entire financial picture, that matters. So for you as federal employees, where should you be on this spectrum, right? So, okay, if you're a federal employee, you're watching this right now, and you have, let's say, $1 million, or maybe you have 100,000. I don't care where you're at. If you're 60, you need to be doing something right now. You need to know exactly what retirement income you're going to have and how that compares to what you're making right now. You have to know these numbers. So I'm going to walk you through it briefly. I've got other videos that go in more in depth in this, but I want to get you started here now that we're talking about averages, okay? So for you to know if wherever you're at, whether it's above the average or below, if you're in a good spot, this is what you need to do. First, find your pension, what your pension is going to be in retirement. I've got other videos on that, or you can request an estimate from your HR. Once you do that, find your net pension, meaning after you pay taxes and survival benefit, everything you pay out of your pension. I've got other videos to show you exactly what all comes out. Find your net pension, what you can actually spend in retirement, okay? Find that number. Number two, get a Social Security statement. If you're 60, that's easy. Go to ssa.gov and pull a statement for what your Social Security benefits are going to be at your retirement time. So if you're retiring at, say, 62, okay, what is going to be at 62? What about 65? I'm not saying that's a perfect time to take it for you. Just for planning purposes, see what it would be right at your retirement date. So 65, okay, what would your Social Security be at 65? Pull that number, take out a chunk for taxes, and then come up with a net number, okay? So your gross Social Security, take out taxes, and then have your net Social Security. Now that we're here, that is going to lay the foundation of your retirement. Now we can actually look at your investments to see if that is going to be enough to fill in any of the gaps, okay? So let's just do a simple, dumb example, okay? Let's say your net pension is $20,000 a year. And let's say your net Social Security, again, after you took everything out that needs to come out, like taxes and things like that, is, again, 20 grand. So you add those together, let's say 40 grand a year. Let's say that you're used to living off of 60 grand a year, right? And how do you know what you're used to living off of? Well, go right this very second to your net pay. Or maybe you know what you get paid every 2 weeks, your net pay. Find that number, right? And this is what you need to do. So for example, if you get paid $1,000 every 2 weeks, well, what you want to do is change that $1,000 to a monthly number, because in retirement, you get paid monthly. Your Social Security comes monthly, your pension comes monthly. We have to compare apples to apples. And since we already are looking at net income for your pension and Social Security, we're looking at your net pay on your pay side, right? So let's say $1,000 every 2 weeks. Perfect. Take that $1,000, times it by 26, because there's 26 pay periods in a year, and that gets your net pay on a yearly basis. But we want to get the monthly basis. So let's divide that result you have now, right? So right now, if it's $1,000 every 2 weeks, that's $26,000 on a yearly basis. Divide that by 12, and you'll get your monthly number. Now, from there, you can say, okay, right now I'm living off, let's say, $3,000 or $10,000, whatever the number is, of net monthly income every single month. Now that you know what the goal is to replace your current income based on what you're taking home right this second, then you could say, okay, look, I've got 20 grand a year from my pension. I got 20 grand a year from my Social Security. My TSP or my investments have to provide the rest, right? Now, if you haven't seen my video on the 4% rule, that is the next place where you want to go, because that'll help you decide, okay, is the amount of money I need in retirement or that I have in my TSP already, is that going to provide me enough income to get me to where I can live off or basically live the same way I'm living? And the 4% rule is a great place to do. So I hope this video isn't meant to go into super depth on all these things. First, I wanted to introduce the average savings, and just to tell you as a federal employee, that doesn't always apply to you, especially because you have a pension. It doesn't always apply. You just want to make sure that you're going to be okay in your situation and that you are going to have a comfortable retirement and you can retire with dignity. That is huge, huge, huge. Now, as a general rule though, the higher your income, the more reliant you have to be on your investments, because the lower your income, the higher percentage of your retirement income is going to come from Social Security. That is how the system is set up. So the higher your income, the more you need to have saved. No questions asked. If you make $300,000 a year, then you're going to need more than $400,000 in your TSP to probably retire the way that you want, right? It all comes down to what you are looking to need in retirement, where you live, your expenses, the things that you want to do, and what you're used to living off of. All those things come into the equation to know, hey, are you going to be prepared and ready to go to retire with confidence and be comfortable along every step of the way? So again, there's tons of other videos and articles that will help you fill in some of these gaps. I know I went fast. It was just a summary of what you need to do to make sure you are going to be squared away for retirement. So check out those other things. To search through my articles, you could go to the website. You could go to the YouTube channel, right? They're both Haas Federal Advisors, haasfederaladvisors.com. There's a search bar. You could search by topic. You could search by any other way to find the articles and the videos that are going to help you the most. Also, one last thing, if you are getting close to retirement and you want help with your TSP, making sure you're investing, maybe you have an IRA, if you want help with your investments, you want help every step of the way, you want to basically say, hey, look, I want a financial planner. I want a firm that's going to be with me every step of the way so I don't have to stress about all these details and keep up with taxes and all the rules and change. If you don't want to have to do all that stuff and you're looking for someone, there's a link below actually to see, okay, are we a good fit? Because we do help federal employees with this sort of thing, but it doesn't always make sense to work together. So there's a link below to see if it does and to maybe get on the calendar and to be able to chat and see what makes sense. So check that out below if you're interested, and have an incredible rest of your day, because we'll see you guys next time.